What's going on, everybody? My name is Ben and welcome back to the bench for another episode of Rivals and Adversaries and our Trumpeter 148 scale MiG-15. Now, I haven't had an episode here on the bench for you guys in a while, so let's go ahead and just get started. We are going to go ahead and try to get this MiG into paint, priming, get this thing looking a little bit more like a MiG. Last episode, I went ahead and did some preliminary sanding and cleanup of different parts and pieces, and so far the seams are just going to have to be kind of janky. Not everything really fits together as well as I would like, but aside from that, first thing I got to do is I got to come in, I got to prime this thing to see if I can really make these seams work. But I think before we do all of that, I want to do a little bit more cleanup. There's a couple of areas I think I can get a little bit better. And then I want to add in some wires and spare parts to the wheelbase, and then of course to the front coping there under the windscreen. I think once that's kind of set up, we can come in, we can prime, and we can see just how well our seams are looking. I don't have any high hopes for that, but I don't know. We'll see when we get there. So let's jump in there, guys. We've got some filing to do, some sanding to do, just to clean up a couple of extra areas. We'll raid the spares box, find some bits and bobs we can throw in the wheelbase, make it look a little bit more interesting, and we'll see how it goes. All right, guys, let's get this party started. Okay, so we are back and I added in wires and I added in plastic parts that I kind of just found through the spares box. I cut up some actuators, I cut up a few, pumps and whatnot I found from other kits, added them into the wheelbase, and it looks okay. I wanted to give those wheelbases a little bit of attention just because they were kind of Spartan, and I thought adding in some 3D relief details like some pumps and some actuators and whatnot might help to elevate it up a little bit, so I'm happy with it. Now I think it's time though to come in and to do some priming. So I'm going to go ahead and use some Mr. Surfacer. We've got that thinned out with our Mr. Leveling Thinner, and we're going to apply that over the entire surface of the model. Check for our seams. We're going to maybe have to adjust a few things here and there. I'm not really that excited about seeing how badly these seams have come out, but the only way you can really tell is to get in there and to prime it. So let's go ahead and take care of that now. After that is done, and I've done a little adjustments and whatnot, I want to start with the Allclad paint. So we'll start off with some black basing, add in some aircraft frame aluminum, some marble coating with duraluminum, mix and match, and just kind of blend it all together and see what we can achieve. So onwards and upwards, guys, let's keep on keeping on. Let's get to priming and painting. Alright everybody, so as you can see, the MiG has most of its base metal color on, and it's not too terrible. I actually like how this has turned out. I started off with some Mr. Surfacer primer, got that all nicely wet sanded out to make it as smooth as possible, then I added in the black basing. Once that was dry, I went ahead and added in our base metal color of aircraft frame aluminum, and then marble coated with duraluminum to give it a little bit of patina and some wear, and then I overcoated that and blended it all together with RAF high-speed silver. And yeah, I know high-speed silver isn't the right color for this particular aircraft, but I wanted to distinguish it from the F-86, and I thought changing up the metal color would actually add a little bit more interest to it. And it did, so I'm pretty happy with it. Now though, we're going to move on. We're going to hit it with some jet exhaust for different panels, and we're going to try to add in some contrast and just see what we can do. So let's get back into that time lapse, guys. Let's push on. Let's finish off for today. Alright everybody, we are back, and I think we are pretty much done for today. We have the MiG in more or less all of its metal colors, so I'm pretty pleased with how it's turned out. I'm not a huge fan of how the fit is on this kit. There's some areas I just could not fix, but the coloring, I don't mind it so much. I think it's actually pretty cool. So here it is. As you can see, the MiG has about 3 different metal shades. We started off with our gloss black primer. I think that's a beautiful place to begin. And we overcoated that with some aircraft frame aluminum. I'm actually out of it, so, well, that is what it is. I have to buy some more. But the aircraft frame aluminum was a great metal base color to start with because it adds a little bit of interest, and you can actually see it when you shift the plane left and right. We also went over that, of course, with some duraluminum, and we marble coated that to add a little bit of patina, a little bit of interest, subtle shifts in metal color. Not exactly perfect, but I think it actually works well. And then we blended all of it with RAF high-speed silver. After that, we came in and we masked off certain panels, and we added in some jet exhaust, really super light misting coats here around the guns and around the tail. We've got that tail cone, of course, our air brakes. I just wanted to make sure that we had a little bit of color panel differentiation, and then I came in again, picked out a few other panels and hit that again just with pure duraluminum to again differentiate that between that and the high-speed silver. So overall, a little bit of work here, but I like the different shades and colors here on the plane. Even though I can't get all the seam lines fixed and correct, we are done with this for right now. I don't want to fool with it anymore. The next episode, overcoat this with Future, and then we'll come back and we'll go ahead and airbrush the wing walks and some of the tail detail colors, and of course for the wheelbase as well. I think those will actually look pretty cool. Honestly, this kit is not really helping me along. We've got some rescribed lines that just don't work out. I've got some steps I just could not get rid of around the gun shrouds. I'm just not happy with the fit and form of this particular model. But you know what? I mean, it still is a fun kit. And as long as you're just building it with everything open, none of those fit issues would be a problem. But unfortunately, I'm not. So, well, they kind of stand out like a sore thumb. Not exactly 100% pleased about that. I think the better choice here would be just to get this kit done and then save up my money and buy the out of production Tamiya MiG-15, which is supposed to be far better than this particular kit. That way I won't have these ugly seam lines and these weird part fit issues, steps, and all sorts of craziness. We're going to go ahead and do that, but we're going to keep going on this MiG. We're going to get this thing finished up, put it in the display case. It's going to be one of those models that works best at that old 3-foot rule. If it looks good at 3 feet, don't look any closer. That's going to be this model for sure. But that is it for us today, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Make sure to go stop by Joe's channel, check out his F-86 Sabre. It's coming along beautifully. Even though the curse of the MiG still hangs on from time to time and adds a little bit of trouble to the builds, we are getting through it. I think we're going to have some really cool looking planes by the end of the entire series. So until then, guys, you know the drill. Go out there, get yourself some bench time, have some fun, build something cool, and we'll see you back here on the next episode of Rivals and Adversaries for the continuation and hopefully finishing of our MiG-15 by Trumpeter. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Take care of yourselves, and we'll see you soon.